Hey guys, Kaylee here and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about fire wife life, basically what it's like to be married to a firefighter. So who better to have join me than my husband? Jeffrey's going to join us and we're going to talk about some pros, some cons, and some advice for being married to a firefighter. We'll dive right in right after you hit like and subscribe. So diving in, let's start with the pros to being married to a firefighter.
The first pro is definitely that every November we get the opportunity to do No Shave November. Most firemen grow a just gorgeous mustache, and that's definitely Kaylee's favorite time of the year.
No, I despise the mustache, and I'm not going to be the one wife that doesn't let them grow it. So the reason for the mustache is because their mask seals, and so they can't have facial hair other than a mustache. So unless he grows a mustache, he doesn't get to do the No Shave November. So I tolerate it, but it is not a pro. That goes on the con list.
Pro number one.
No. The real pro number one, that was not on our list. The real pro number one is that they can cook.
That's true.
And clean. They can cook and clean. It's been wonderful. What's the second one?
I don't know. The second one was cooking because the first one was mustache.
The schedule is awesome.
It's pretty great. I work a 24-hour shift and then am off for 48 hours. So 1 on, 2 off, 10 days a month.
What we love is that we get the random Tuesdays off together, or the random weekdays when everybody else is working, and it's time that we can go to a theme park or go see a movie or do something when nobody else is there.
That's right. I don't know how normal people go to the grocery store on a Saturday.
Another aspect of that is that every third day I get our king-size bed to myself.
And that is just the reason why we have to have a king-size bed. When I'm used to sleeping by myself at work, she's used to sleeping like a starfish on a full-size bed, then you kind of have to upgrade to a king. So
we started not liking that we were all crowded in bed when oh, you're here tonight. There's not space between us.
Super healthy marriage. All right, the next pro, I guess we could just show them. You want me to show everyone the firefighter calendar I made for you?
No, that's not the next one. The next one is supposed to be the built-in family that we have.
And the calendar. Yeah. I mean, family is awesome. It's like a brotherhood. The fire department is brotherhood and sisterhood. You just have a lot of people looking out for you. A lot of people looking out for your family. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous that we spend a third of our lives with the people at work, and then we still want to hang out with them on our days off. Yeah. But I mean, it's true. We're a tight-knit bunch.
Well, and coming up to the station with the kids, we can come up for dinner and all have a family dinner or do holidays at the station together, and it's we're really close with everybody that he works with, and they love us like family, and they do anything for us. And along with that is that the wives are also their own community. So the guys are at work, all of us girls are off on the same days or have the guys at work on the same days, and so we often have girls' nights or do fun things together, so it's fun. The next one is that almost all firefighters have a side hustle, a side gig. For us, it's the free time that he has on his off days. We have side businesses that we can run.
Right, and you can just, being out for 48 hours, have different businesses and be creative and do something that's totally outside of emergency services. They can, make a little bit of side cash as well as be something fun to do. It also is a huge network. So anytime you have a AC problem, there's a firefighter that works on HVAC. Yeah, I mean, same with about everything. It seems like it's this network of
there's
construction,
a carpenter,
yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Flooring guy.
So good networking, good opportunity for a side hustle.
Absolutely.
The next pro is certainly a sense of humor. Most firefighters have a great sense of humor, can make fun of anything, including ourselves. Sometimes it's a bit dark, the humor gets. I mean, we see some things that, you know, you just gotta have an out there sense of humor sometimes. But the chances are, according to the made-up statistics I'm about to tell you, like 75% of firefighter wives are like nurses and teachers who also have a somewhat dark sense of humor. I mean, every once in a while a firefighter is married to something out there, like a cosmetologist or something, but you know, you can't trust those people.
Whatever. No matter what job you have, just be prepared to laugh. And our final pro is that they have awesome bonfires. I have yet to meet a single firefighter that is not a pyro, so the bonfires get pretty intense and pretty fun. So moving into the challenges of being married to or in a relationship with a firefighter. The first one is that every third day I'm alone for 24 hours, or single parenting for 24 hours, and that is very challenging because this is when things will break or things will go wrong or the car will not work. It will happen on this day, so just be prepared.
Another challenge is, you know, kind of a job, just comes with the job, is that we see hard things sometimes, and you know, it affects us all differently. I would say, you know, each firefighter probably has an element of PTSD they deal with, and you know, seeing those things is hard. It also is you know, mental injury. So when you sprain your ankle and you can't run on it a couple days later, that makes sense because you sprained your ankle. But when you have a mental injury and then, you know, you're easily frustrated, you know, for the next couple days, that just doesn't make sense. You don't think like, oh, maybe he saw something hard at the fire station, or I don't even register that and say like, hey, I need, you know, I need a low-key day or something, you know, without kids screaming all day because I had a rough day at work. So that's certainly a challenge that we've faced, but I mean, recognizing it's a big portion of the solution, and Kaylee's always been super understanding of things that go on at work that aren't always easy.
Yeah.
That's where dark humor comes in.
So the next one kind of ties in with those, but post-shift mornings are really challenging for us. Sometimes, not all the time, but often because he just got done with a 24-hour shift. Most fathers are coming home at 5 o'clock in the evening. You know they've had a long day, it's evening, you know that they would like peace, or you at least can expect and plan for that. Where for him, he's coming home at the very beginning of our day. So being aware of the fact that he possibly had a really long night and a really long shift and wants to just come home to some peace and quiet. Mornings are not very peaceful or quiet around our house.
Right. And the other side of that, coming home, like I have to be aware that Kaylee, like she said, has been pretty much a single mom for 24 hours and dealt with the kids and dealt with dinner by herself and all the things that have to do with that. You know, it could have been a tough bedtime, it could have been a tough night for her. So I always try and come home and like at least get through the morning, try and make breakfast and take the kids to school or wherever they need to go, and just do my part. And us both giving, you know, 100% to those mornings makes that hard transition pretty easy.
So the next challenge is that communication is sometimes very difficult when they're on shift. The important conversations sometimes have to wait, or they're interrupted. They are sometimes even non-existent. Communication on my part, because there's been times I've worried him that I'm not communicating at all. Well, he can't leave work to come find me or figure out what's going on. So communication in general, I feel like, is just challenging.
Right.
And the next one is slowing down their eating.
It's totally true. I mean, firefighters in general eat like someone's trying to steal it, or you get a prize for coming in first, or I don't know. You know, it comes with every time you sit down for a hot meal is, of course, when the tones go off and you gotta go on a call and you come back to cold food. So yeah, whenever we go out to nice places, or Kaylee's, you know, eating with particular people that she thinks I'm not gonna be able to impress, I get a pep talk about like, hey,
let's enjoy
don't
this
eat
dinner.
like a
Let's
savage.
not just inhale it.
We'll be able to have breakfast in the morning. It's okay.
Slow down.
The Corona man's not gonna eat it all.
Stop. And the final one is that they are often a bit cynical of the world.
It's
a challenge. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a challenge.
Just see it for what it is, you know.
And sometimes there's people in this world that like to be optimistic and like to see things in a positive light.
And that's neat.
So taking all those pros and cons and rolling forward, we want to do some advice in dealing with all that. So we talked a lot about communication. So the advice would just be stepping back and being super understanding of when it's hard to communicate, when they don't want to talk, when they do want to talk, and being understanding of the PTSD stuff or just different situations. Adjust your expectations and be extra understanding and loving. So the next piece of advice is the second family that we keep talking about and referring to, whether it's the guys at the station or the wives, embracing them. And when you're feeling lonely, when you're struggling, when you're stressed, reach out. They know what you're going through. They've been there too. Utilize them as a resource, as encouragement, encourage others, and just embrace the community that you're blessed with.
Or have a dark sense of humor and fun at everything.
Next is to adapt life to utilize that schedule to the best that you can. So scheduling girls' nights when he's at the station, or scheduling date nights and fun stuff that I want him to be at on times that he's off. If there's weeks where I'm working and he's working and it doesn't feel like we're getting a lot of time together at all, you can do, or it's been recommended to us to do a TV cell phone fast, so that those couple hours that we're together before he has to go to work is that much more cherished and special. My final piece of advice is the one that's the biggest for me, because I worry and I'm anxious, but praying for him every day, praying for him when I start to get anxious, but then leaving it at God's feet. I could drive myself sick thinking about what he's doing at work, where he's at, and why I haven't heard from him, but just saying that prayer for his safety and leaving it at God's feet, and not stressing over it, not worrying over it, just having peace that he's in God's hands.
Right, and that certainly goes both ways, because not being home, you aren't getting to essentially be a husband except through FaceTime and phone calls, or a dad, unless they stop by the station. So I find that, a lot of prayer time is essential, and helps me to also relax, knowing that the family is safe, and knowing that even though it's out of my control, that it's still in control. Hey Kaylee.
What?
What did the firefighter say when the church caught on fire?
What?
Holy smoke. Hey Kaylee.
What?
Do you know I've walked where the devil roams?